Elicit.org is a semantic search tool for science, and it's one of my go-to tools when I'm exploring a new research area. So if you head over to elicit.org, you can enter a research question. You just use normal language, and this is what they call a notebook. You can upload PDFs that you have got within your own library or within a tool like Zoltro, and you can also then get a list of concepts within those papers that you upload. The important thing to note is that each of these actions uses up credits. So when you sign up for the free version of Elicit, you get given 5,000 credits. And you can see that by answering a research question, for example, using paper, that will use up between about 100 and 120 credits. If you want to get a list of concepts, that's going to use somewhere between 500 and 2,500 credits, for example. So all the actions that you carry out within Elicit deplete the credits that you've got. Once you've used up all those free credits, you either need to create a new account with a different email address, or you need to subscribe to the Plus version, which costs about $10 a month. So I'm going to enter my research question. So my research question is, what evidence is there that climate change is leading to extinction pressure on Arctic species? If you click the arrow button, and in a few moments it will spit out a summary of the top 4 papers that it's found. And if you click on any of these hyperlinked papers, it will take you to the PDF of the paper, if it's available. And it also gives you a short summary of the paper itself, including the DOI, links, number of citations, the year published. So it gives you a snapshot overview of the paper. Where Elicit really comes into its own is abolishing TLDR, or too long didn't read. For all the papers it's found in its search, it produces short takeaways for the different sections of the paper. So for example, in this top paper here, it tells me the author, the journal, the year it was published, the number of citations, the DOI. But then I also get a short summary of the abstract, a summary of the paper overall, the main findings, the methodology, the interventions that were used, and the outcomes that were measured. You can also then go and add additional columns, such as the limitations or a summary of the introduction or the discussion. Or if you show more, it will give you a huge range of other options that you can select from. The most important thing to remember though is that for each of the additional tabs that you open, then you're going to use up credits. And so you can burn through credits really quickly if you just click everything. So be selective about what you really want to find out. You can also sort the papers. So rather than being sorted by the most recent, you could sort it by most relevant, or you could go by the most cited. And that will just reorder the papers that you see within that list. You can apply a number of filters, so you can click whether or not it has the PDF. That can be quite useful, but to be honest with you, there are other ways of finding PDFs outside of Elicit. You can adjust the publication year, so from any time in history up to present day. You can look at the different types of studies, so whether it's a review, whether it's a longitudinal study, systematic reviews, etc. And you can also limit by keywords within the abstract. So there's ways that you can refine the search quite easily. Lastly, what you can do is add a new step. If you were to select papers from the list, you can extract data from those papers. You can chat with the papers that you've selected. But again, just be aware that every time you carry out an action, it's going to use up some of the free credits that you have. So that is Elicit. A really nice, helpful tool for finding papers that evidence your research question. It allows you to very quickly extract the key information so you can decide whether it's worth downloading the full paper and investing your time in reading it in greater detail. And the key thing to remember, as with any AI tool, is that don't trust the outputs explicitly without checking the papers yourself.